Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Boise State football wide receiver Ben Ford. I've had to face some setbacks on the field this past season, but toughness isn't about staying down. It's about getting back up. I am proud to represent Lithia Ford of Boise, where you can find the largest selection of Ford trucks that are built tough and, like me, handle the hits and keep pushing forward. Come check out the incredible inventory and competitive pricing at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're not just getting a truck, you're supporting Boise State athletics and Lithia Ford NIL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
The final buzzer is sounded on another night of Mountain West basketball, and it's time to break down the action with Tom Moser on another night in the Mountain West, presented by Circus Sports. Headed to Las Vegas for the Mountain West tournament in March? Make sure to stay at Circa Las Vegas and watch all the action at Stadium Swim, where the sports are on 365 days a year. Another night in the Mountain West has interviews, analysis, opinions after the final Mountain West basketball game of the day wraps up. All BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. The title sponsor of Bronco Nation News is Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out our full inventory of vehicles online at lithiafordboise.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Did your team just get a big win? Suffer a bad loss? Come discuss it with us. Send us a comment or question in the ICCU YouTube chat, or leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/BNN. Now let's go to the Sun Cruiser Studios and join Tom Moser for another night in the Mountain West on Bronco Nation News.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Another night in the Mountain West. Regular season wrap-up episode. Where did the season go? Where'd it go? So Saturday, March the 7th, technically, I almost got in under the wire, too, to make it here on the East Coast on Saturday the 7th. Nevada didn't really want to cooperate and help me out there. I think that game is just going final here in the next few seconds. I was really hoping to start this at about the 10-minute mark of the second half. I could have, truth is, Air Force was never really going to cut that down into a really working margin where it was Nevada fans had to sweat. But as long as it was not complete blowout city, I figured I would wait. And once it got down to the 4-minute mark, I just figured. But then when Air Force called timeout with 2 minutes left, I wasn't having any of that. That was the end of it. I wanted to kind of just get this thing started here. So just over midnight here on the East Coast, moving into Sunday, March 8th. And our regular season in about 20 seconds. Ooh, forgive me there. Our regular season is now complete. And once the standings update here, I don't know if I'll be able to get a bracket on the screen, but I'll have the standings on the screen and we'll be able to piece the bracket together as we kind of all know it was going to be before this game started. Let's be honest about it. So here's what we're going to do. I didn't do a show last night, so I'll talk about that game for a few minutes, talk about some of the other games in here for a few minutes today, and spend most of the time on the big game in Logan between New Mexico and Utah State that decided the conference title. And then I'll spend a little bit of time on the matchups for Wednesday and maybe some other big picture topics on the tournament next week. I don't want to spoil all of it, though, because as BJ had proposed in the midweek here, and I mentioned it on the show probably both Tuesday or at least Wednesday, if not both nights, we are going to do a preview episode, right? Tentatively, likely to be Monday. It will be earlier Monday since there's no action going on. Now, I don't know about BJ's status. It will depend on what's going on in the women's tournament because I think the semis are that night. And if Boise's playing, I think BJ will not be available for it. If Boise's out, BJ will be here. And I haven't checked up on it if it started today, I think, or what happened. So not that I'm rooting against Boise, but we'd like to have BJ here. Likely have Jeff with us as well. And I'm not going to drop names. We'll save that until it's confirmed, but hoping and likely to have at least one, if not two other non or first timers here on the show. So looking to get some different voices from within the league and outside of the league on here to join us. So looking forward to that episode on Monday. Likely to be 10 Eastern, 8 Mountain on Monday. So I wouldn't, that's not 100% in stone, but that's likely to what it will be. So 10 Eastern, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific on Monday. That gives us a day off tomorrow to kind of just digest, recover from the weekend, etc., and a full day and a half really before the action starts in Vegas on Wednesday. So I'm not going to spoil like all of my thoughts, but of course, you guys, if you're in here, you have comments, questions, everything like that on that, of course, I'll address them, and we'll have to talk about it a little bit because now we have some matchups set, right? So let's get to it. I'll just go through the other games first. I will save the big game for last. So if you're here just for that one, enjoy the conversation for the next 15 minutes or so because I am going to go through the other games. Then I'll cycle through the chat, and then I'll get to the big game. That's kind of my plan for here. Before we do so, let's give Sun Cruiser a shout, the old sponsor. Sun Cruiser, iced tea, vodka, lemonade, all that good stuff. Have continue to have people on social media, on Twitter, sending pics, taking pics of it, shouting out the sponsor, which is great. They like to see that. And we appreciate them being along for the ride. And even though we're reaching the end of the line here in the season for our episodes, if you haven't done so, there you go, at Mountain West BNN. Please go subscribe. Free, just click subscribe as long as you're a member of YouTube. You have a YouTube channel. Just click subscribe there at Mountain West BNN. We got some more episodes. Like I said, we got a preview episode. We got episodes to come during the conference tournament, and we'll see after that. So lots to come yet. Give that subscribe button a click. Okay, let's get to what we watched here now. For those of you that watched it, I guess, okay, so 74-59 is the final from Lawler. I mean, listen, it was 12-0 3 minutes into the game. Like, it was 12-0. And Air Force calls timeout. And so, as you could tell by the score right there, over the last 37 minutes of the game, it was basically played close, within a few points, right? Now, Air Force did score the last whatever the game to knock it down to 15, but I like that's not a winning effort from Nevada. Now, I will say, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this game, but I will say that it's difficult to get up to play Air Force, right? It is. They're 0-19. They've not been competitive in most of their games. The crowd, you could tell, they were excited for senior night stuff and some of that, but even that's, we know it. That's lost its luster over the last few years with the influx of one and dones at your school, right? Not one and dones freshmen and gone, but 1 year transfers. So no offense, and it's certainly not just specific to Nevada here, but guys like Weems and Lowry, those guys coming out for senior night, like, it's great, right? They've been a part of the program for 10 months. I'm sure that they feel closeness with their team, but the fans don't relate to these guys that have been there for a year like they do the guys from 8, 10, 12, 25 years ago that played 4 years there. And you really, they stick with the program, likely through some ups and downs personally and as a team. It's just far different now. And so even like guys who were there for 2 years, you have to respect, let alone 3 or 4. So, but anyway, and beside that, like the fans, it's just difficult to be really like bought in for a game when you're a 25-point favorite against Air Force, right? Like it's just difficult to do. But that being said, if this is the effort that you're going to get from Nevada next week, like they'll beat Air Force again, and then they're going to lose to GCU on Thursday because, like, again, they did what they had to do here, but they were not super impressive here. I don't think, right? Like they were not. That's just not a winning effort against a better team. It's just not, right? And so I worry moving forward for what they're doing, okay? Because I don't think it was a top shelf effort. That's not going to get it done against most teams. It's just not, unfortunately, okay? Air Force, look, 0-20 and likely heading to 0-21 with a rematch against Nevada on Wednesday. So just not. We know the deal with Air Force, and it is what it is. So, okay, enough of that. I'm not really going to talk specifics there with Nevada. What did they get? They got most of their points from Camper was okay. Price was okay, but it wasn't about the individuals today. They just they shot 4 for 18 from 3. Neither team turned it over much. Just wasn't super. Okay, let me get to the penultimate game here, the one before that. GCU, they took care of business. They needed to win that game to secure the bye, and they did. And it wasn't close. Again, without Collins, Fresno, we know the deal, right? Without Collins, they're not capable of beating the top shelf teams, and that's what happened here. They've been without Douglas for a few weeks now. They didn't have Manny, one of their bigs, off the bench. Now I'm intrigued by this D Alf off the bench here. Granted, it was garbage time, but he came in the last 5 minutes and looked really good. And I'm wondering why he doesn't get more burn and more run at other times. He's an athletic guy, good length. He had a good stroke from the foul line, so I'd like to see more of him. But I don't know. As far as GCU, a couple things to note here, and I tweeted this out after the game. They get Caleb Shaw back. He's been out for a month. Talking to Brennan Williams a few weeks ago, he was unsure if he would return. So that's a big plus. That's a big plus to get him back, okay? And also, Stromer has not played well this year. Maybe it was just tonight, so who knows? Maybe it's just a one-timer. But he was what? What did he shoot? 5 for 7 from 3. So he came in as a shooter from Gonzaga, and he hasn't shot it well. But if he does, and now Shaw's back, that extends the GCU bench a little bit. They're only going to have to play 3 games in 3 nights. They don't have to play a 4th game. And now you're adding extra bodies to the guys that are capable of contributing. And, they're going to be a little dangerous out there. There's no doubt about it. Williams didn't play great tonight. Moore did. Henley wasn't super, but he did enough. And look, they won it with their defense, and they got contributions from a lot of guys. So good job by GCU to lock that 4th seed up. They finished tied in the conference with New Mexico for 3rd. That's pretty darn impressive. I know going back to the preseason, and again, I may have said this earlier, but there were plenty of people who thought that they'd finish 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever. Now, some of that may be built in like bias against them because they don't like GCU and what they are as a school. But I think some of it, too, was they just didn't think that a program could come in that had been in the WAC and blah, 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 and they weren't going to hold up in the Mountain West. Now, part of it was the fact that the conference was down a little bit in terms of at the top, the strength, but also Drew deserves a lot of credit because this team was not good. I mentioned this on the show going back 5-6 weeks. They were not good in November, December, and they really kind of tweaked some things. Drew coached them up. They've gotten better and better, and they finished 13-7, tied for 3rd with New Mexico, get themselves a bye. They're not on the bubble, but they're not a team that I would count out in Vegas. Okay, I understand it's a completely different league. They're playing better competition, but they're not going to be an easy out next week. All right, they're not going to be. All right, let me get to now the next 2 games I did not see any of. I did not see any of the Wyoming San Jose State game, and I'll talk about why in a minute, see any of the Boise CSU games. So we'll go to Wyoming and San Jose State. 88-78 is the final. good road win for Sundance and crew. Now, look, San Jose State finishes the conference slate 3-17. And so, you're going to say, well, why is that? What is it a good win for? You beat a team by 10 on the road. That's 3-17. Look, it's a road win by 10, as I just said. So San Jose, they had a little more bench minutes and guys that could play tonight. Miles actually used like 6, 7, 8 guys. And I know a couple guys didn't play a lot of minutes, but he had a full complement of guys. Look at the stats here. Both teams shoot over 50%. So something I saw in the stats, so San Jose State, they only took 9 threes. Very bizarre. That's un-San Jose State-like. Now, they did score 50 paint points. That's a ton. So Wyoming's playing a 4-guard lineup and Saxon inside. Now, Gores was a beast tonight. He only played 17 minutes because he looks like he was in foul trouble. He fouled out in 17 minutes, but he scored 20 points. So he was 7 for 7 from the floor. Good. But with Sundance playing a 4-guard lineup, Miles must have just tried to hammer home the fact that, because it weren't fast break points either. They got 13 fast break points and 15 points in the paint. You only take 9 threes. That's un-Spartan-like. You think of San Jose and they just fire them up, right? Well, and it's not big guys doing the paint scoring here. It's not Bullion or a Price or a big guy inside doing the damage. It's guards driving the hall. So that's good for San Jose. It's not super for Wyoming, right? That you're getting beat off the dribble. You're allowing that many paint points, okay? But you are playing small. I didn't see it, so I don't know what happened. There weren't a lot, average number of free throws, but, the paint points, that's a little worrisome if you're a Wyoming fan defensively. But, look, they scored 88 and they won the game comfortably. So they scored 49 in the first half. That's 2 games in a row. They scored almost half 100 in the first half. They shot 9 for 19 from 3. Spartans only turned over 5 times. Pretty efficient basketball. They got out rebounded by a bunch, but look, good win by Wyoming. They're going to be in that 8-9 game on Wednesday, as we'll talk about in a little bit. And the other game, now look, I didn't have, I was away earlier during the day, and this is why I was upset about it. I mentioned on my pod that, it was bad enough. We all complained about the fact that the Utah State New Mexico game wasn't on TV. It was only on the Mountain West Network, right? Like, look, the cable spots are limited today with conference tournament games going on in many conferences, maybe not the heavy hitters, but second tier conferences running their tournaments. You got semifinal and championship games taking up TV slots on all the networks, and then women's games too. So it's bad enough that we had that game on the Mount West Network. I survived it. I got to watch 99% of it. My thing froze up a few times. I had to refresh it. Fine. What bugged me was that this game was at the exact same time as the other game I wanted to watch today. Like, no offense to Nevada, no offense to Grand Canyon. I had a feeling those games would not be competitive. We needed a damn CSU Boise game at night or vice versa, so they were staggered. Okay, because this on paper was the second best game of the day. It probably played out that way too, because nothing else was really good as the way they went. Although this wasn't really a nail biter either. So what I see in the stats here, what's wild, right, is let me remove that. I don't want to leave that on the screen for too long. But what I saw, both teams shoot 50%. Both teams shoot the same number, basically. Boise 26 for 51, CSU 26 for 52. So they just shoot exactly the same, with the Rams taking one more shot. Same from 3. Boise 6 for 19, CSU 6 for 20. So that one extra shot came from 3 for the Rams. They missed it. They make the exact same number of field goals. They make the exact same number of threes. Obviously, then the difference comes at the foul line. Boise 20 for 25, CSU 9 for 14. They each miss 5. The difference is Boise takes 11 more. Now, you look at the personal fouls, Rams commit 17, Boise commits 16. So it's not like the fouls were 27 to 11, and it's like, well, CSU got screwed, even though they were at home. No, I'm assuming that the fouls then that the Rams took were inside on drives to the basket, whether it's Andrews who took 6, Meadow who took 6, whatever it was. And the Ram fouls that they drew were out front or in the backcourt or wherever it was, because you take the same number of fouls and you don't shoot the same number of foul shots. I don't know. All right. Neither team turned it over a lot. 11-9. Huge number again was the boards. Boise dominated the Aztecs on the glass. We talked about that. It was 37-15 on Wednesday or Tuesday. It was. Here, it was 37-21. So just dominant on the glass by Boise, 37-21, huge. The Rams did what they do, 18 assists on 24 makes, right? I mean, or 26 makes. It's pretty darn good. And they just didn't make the shots from outside. And I had a feeling that you would get a Leon Rice defensive special here, okay? Once I saw the spread was like a 1-point spread, and that just seemed odd to me. CSU had won like 8 in a row. Not like they had won 8 in a row. They're at home. It just seemed like that was an odd point spread there with the Rams only favored by 1. And I thought that Leon would cook up a defensive special here, right? Rex Steiner 4 for 12. No Pasquarelli again. Munez only 2 for 7. He's not going to score much. He did have 9 assists, and he continues. Steve told me the other night he leads the conference, and he's top 25 in the country in assist to turnover ratio. Awesome. Fantastic. Really happy for him. Rex Steiner did have 5 assists. Booth, 9 and 4. He was kind of held down. Butler was their leading scorer with 15 and Jorgensen 14. Bemba 7 off the bench, played in foul trouble, looks like. Fielder, another big game for Fielder, 23 tonight and 6 boards on 10 for 14 from the floor. Meadow, 11, didn't shoot it great. 7 boards, though. Andrew, 6 for 11 to get his 19. Not bad. 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Not much from the bench. Carmichael 4, Parolin 7, but obviously they did it inside. Although 38 point paints for the Rams too. But I mean, good job by Boise. I'm sure on both ends of the floor to get that win. And for seeding purposes, I'll go over that in a minute. Let me just look quickly at last night's game before I read through the comments here, and then we'll go to the big game in Logan. And because it wasn't today, I have to go to a different screen here for the stats and go to the ESPN feed instead of the Mountain or the Stat broadcast feed. So both teams shoot it well. UNLV took 2 more shots, made 3 less. Both teams make 10 threes. UNLV on 2 less shots. Both teams good from the foul line. Not great, but good. Even on the boards. Assists are even. Turnovers were a couple more for the Aztecs. Individual scoring, it was basically like a one-on-one game between Gibbs Lawhorn and BJ Davis, career high. Gibbs Lawhorn 32, again, just ridiculous hoops. 4 turnovers, 3 steals, okay, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Jones was a stud too. 22 off the bench, 6 boards, 3 blocks, 9 for 14. He blocked Guath twice in a very impressive sequence in the second half, where you see guys all the time with guys shot faking, right? And they leave their feet and they get off balance and they take a foul or whatever, take a foul, jump into the guy. Jones knows he can leap with anybody in the country, waited, and really impressive to do against Guath. Waited, didn't bite on the pump fakes, waited till Guath released the ball and then swatted it like twice in a row. That was as impressive a defensive sequence inside from a shot blocker as I've seen all season. Really impressive stuff. So, I caught myself. I mean, ultimately, San Diego State just made another player, another shot. BJ, whatever you want to say. I didn't look through the rest of their stuff here. Waters had 19. Davis 30 off the bench, 11 of 17, 4 for 8. Good job by him. Bird 6, only 2 of 4, but I'll give him credit. He's not forcing shots, right? He made it 3 early. He didn't force too many after that. Newman and Odin didn't give you much, which you're not going to get much from them. Same with Heidi. It was really, they needed all those buckets from Davis. But I found myself watching the game and thinking to myself, man, this UNLV team is like fun to watch. I know some people are annoyed by like Pastner's theatrics on the sideline. And I guess if you're a San Diego State fan or whoever they're playing on the night that's happening, I get it. It's kind of annoying. I just laugh at it. Like, frankly, I think it's kind of funny, right? Like he's animated. He's into it, right? Like if it bothers you and ticks you off, I get it, but I'd sure as hell rather have that than some of the other guys that look like they're going through a root canal on the sidelines, right? Now, does he abuse the coaching box violation? 100%. They warned him after probably 8 verbal warnings, right? It's one of those things where the officials are like, coach, get in the box, because they don't want to have to warn you and tee you up for that. They don't want to. And most guys, some guys push it a little bit. Pastner pushes it a lot. He's running up and down the sideline. Some people might think it's a little hokey, and I get it, but like the guy's trying, he's trying. So I think it's been really fun to watch this team. It is a shame that it took them this long to find this rotation because he only played 7 guys last night. And he's got a couple guys, again, I said this before, that he was playing early in the year that he doesn't want to give run to now. And he's really comfortable with the rotation that he has. They're playing very good basketball. We know that what the deal is for them coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I do think that if this was the 7-man rotation that he was using all year, I do think they'd have a few more wins. I don't think they'd be in the bubble conversation because, they're not quite as consistent as they need to be for that. They would have had a couple of those clunkers in there, but they probably would have had a few more wins and maybe been in like the, so they're in the 7-8 bracket here. They slipped at the 8 because they didn't have the tiebreaker over CSU. But, they certainly could have been in the 5-6, and I don't see why not the 3-4, as they only finished 2 games behind 3rd and 4th, right? Like everybody was jumbled in there, 3rd and 4th, as I'll go to in a second, and then 5th and 6th, and then 7th and 8th. So I really think they could have been in that top 4 because this lineup, the way they're playing, is like that's a good lineup. They're playing good. They know their roles. They've improved. He's kind of cut the dead weight as far as the guys that weren't playing defense and all that stuff. And so this is what they are right now, and you have to be wary of that for sure. All right, let me scroll through the comments. Jordan, outside of the second, from a Boise perspective here, you like the Broncos' option for where they are. So they're going to be in a 3-6 game against New Mexico, a team they've beaten twice. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. Jordan wants to connect with some of the fans out there. I'm sure that will happen. Spencer wants Wyoming to pull the upset against UNLV because the Aggies would rather play Wyoming than UNLV. I think that's quite obvious as we've seen. So I'll talk about that a little bit. We got a Delaware fan in here, the Blue Hens. I did see from my home state, a buddy of mine who went to Delaware sent me a tweet today. It had nothing to do with basketball. It was a football tweet, but they have like 92% retention in their football program. So they're in Conference USA, which is awful. So they would have a chance in only their second year of D1 next year. 92% retention at this day and age in college sports is absurd. So very good for them. Yeah, the men's and women's, I guess they just do it like nobody wants to do theirs like early on in the week, Jordan. Like nobody wants to do it on Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, I guess. I don't really know. It's tough to do it like simultaneously in the same arena. Like it just is. So the Bronco women beat San Jose State today. So I guess their quarterfinal game then tomorrow, if they win that, they'll play the semis on Monday. So we'll have to see. I don't know who they play. Scotty, Chol. Who's Chol? I don't know who Chol is. Oh, Antonio Chol. Yeah, non-existent. Yeah, we'll talk about Chol in a second. Is Boise the hottest team? Sky wants to know in the conference. Fielder is borderline unstoppable in the paint, threw around Jorgensen. So he beasted Jorgensen today. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want to mention this too. Let me get through the comments. Lobos could have used a CSU double-digit win to move that loss to quad 2. Yeah, if you're getting there, like maybe they could use CSU if CSU knocks off Fresno in a 7-10, and then they could beat San Diego State. That would give them a quad 1. That would probably move them up to a quad 2 then. Yeah, Jordan, I did hear Pastner on the broadcast slapping the TV, and Dave Ryan and Gillen commented on it. Now they kind of have to because they're like 6 feet from the guy. And then Pastner was commenting nonstop about Gillen in his interview. So they kind of, when you do that, you're going to give the guy some love back. And it was right in front of him. But yeah, I don't know if you want to slap the table. I agree with that, Jordan. Oh, you don't like the silent Z? When I hit the silent Z in boys. Yeah, it's just like that's one of those things. I think that's more like a part of the country thing, like I'm not from the South. I don't think I have an accent, but like nobody in this part of the country and like says Boise, like I guess technically like I just can't do that. It's like other people saying other things the way that they say them. Like I don't know that I could ever get myself to say Boise. It's Boise. Oh, you know what? For 10 seconds, I'm going to disappear. I'm going to put the standings on the screen and disappear. I'll probably keep talking, but I got to plug my battery in or it's the computer's going to shut off. I realized it wasn't plugged in. So I want to get the standings up here. That's not going to do it. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get oh, here we go. Okay. So here are, and this is just a generic search of the standings. All right. It's not going to show the last two teams. Probably not, but I'm going to go underneath the computer here. Where is it? Add to stage. Okay. I'm going to plug my computer in. Give me 10 seconds. So don't think I disappeared. All right. That would save me not having video footage. All right. Shame on me for not having that thing set. Okay. Anyway, all right. We'll do a little handiwork on the fly here. So, all right. There we go. All good. Apologies for that. Okay. I'm back. Now, as we look at the standings up here, all right, because we have comments coming in on them. Nevada will lose the Grand Canyon. Francis, I would certainly, it's trending that way. Let's just say that it's trending that way. So as I mentioned before, and I didn't get to the big game yet. I'm saving that ammo for last. But we have ties at the 3 and 4. New Mexico swept Grand Canyon, so they get the tiebreaker. We have the tie at 5 and 6. Nevada gets a tiebreaker over Boise because they beat Utah State. Boise did not. And then we get CSU with the tiebreaker in the 7-8 because they swept UNLV. So that's kind of how that stuff lands. And then we'll get the 7-10 CSU Fresno. You have to like that matchup if you're a Ram fan, especially if Collins is out. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back. I don't know. But if he's out, it's just a non-starter, really. Obviously, Nevada against Air Force, and Boise's got to be favorable matchup with San Jose State. And then the 8-9. So I want to talk about the 8-9 in a second. Let me see what else here. Sky Passner's annoying. He needs to get off the court, but his team is awesome to watch. Yeah, I mean, listen, again, I get how that's annoying to some people. I guess if I was coaching against him, it would drive me nuts too. Since I try to find like humor sometimes in the stuff that I'm watching, I do find it a little funny. Hard to win 4 straight playing only 7 deep. That's a fact. That's a fact. Steinbauer, appreciate you being here. So listen, I will say this. I'll be honest, okay? You guys know I don't watch a ton of non-Mountain West, especially, like, no offense, but like big schools. If I'm going to watch something other than the power schools, I'm largely going to watch like a big time game that's on, okay? So I have not watched Miami of Ohio all season, and then I watched the game last night. It was an incredible game, okay? And I will say their strength of schedule, horrendous. Everybody knows it. Disgusting. Now, the argument is, well, they tried to schedule these teams and nobody would schedule them. I get that, right? I get that. So in that sense, it sucks. What you have to do, and it's not fair to their team this year, but what you have to do is build your program up a la San Diego State, a la Gonzaga, a la Memphis in a small league to get schools to want to schedule you. And it doesn't just happen on a one-year thing. But that doesn't help the cause this year for the team. So they got to play a horrible schedule. But I will say that they are a solid team. Now, obviously, if they're in the SEC or the Big Ten, they're going to lose 7, 8, 9 games. How would they fare in the Mountain West is a pretty decent question. Like, I don't think they're better than Utah State. But to be honest, like, and on paper, man for man, they're not more talented and a better, like, group of players than San Diego State. Okay. But do I think they would beat San Diego State on a neutral if they played 10 times? I probably think they beat the Aztecs 6 out of 10 because you don't win 31 out of 31 games in a regular season by not being connected as a team, right? That's the definition of a team, right? You're connected. You play for each other. You don't care who scores. You don't care who gets the glory. You don't care if you suck on a given night. All you care about is if your team wins. And they, while I was following it without watching, they pulled game after game after game out of their arse a few weeks ago because it was similar to Sprinkle's team 2 years ago here with Utah State. Now, I think that team had more talent than this Miami, Ohio team. I think. I'm not sure. But like they pulled so many games out of their rear end, but they had that belief and they were all bought in as a team. okay? And I think that's what Miami, Ohio is. Like, they will get in. I don't think they'll win the MAC tournament. They'll lose. I think they just put so much energy and effort and emotion into winning all of these games that I think it's going to catch up to them. They're playing with fire, winning all these games by one possession. I think they'll lose in the conference tournament. They're still going to get in. They deserve to get in, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win a game. We'll see who the matchup is, but that's my thought on them. Nathaniel, good question. Okay. All right, Sky, appreciate that. I know it's Boise, but I can't do that. I'm not, like, I talk the way I talk. It's like having an accent. Okay, Roddy gives me permission since Utah State owns Boise, he says, to keep using the silent Z. Okay. Raynard, not easy to beat a team 3 times in a season if UNM will play Boise. Oh, well, I guess you're right. Boise has to beat San Jose State first. So if they match up in the 3-6 game, it's not easy to beat a team 3 times. You can look on both sides of the coin for that, right? Like, it's not easy to beat a team 3 times, but if you match up well with them, like, maybe it is or is easier. Do I think Nevada can make a run at McD? I don't. I wish the answer was yes. I like the Nevada fans. I think they're good basketball fans. They know the game. They understand what's going on. They're critical of their team when they deserve it. I don't see as many, like, I hate to use the word, like, whiny fans when things don't go their way, like as some other schools have. They just own the fact that they might suck on a given night or for a given season. So I do root for them. I don't think they're good enough to win it. I don't. Justin says the bracket is up on the website. Let me see if I can pull it up. Boise has the easiest path, Sky says, to the title on Saturday. Beware momentum. Well, they certainly have it. Thanks, Nathaniel, for giving me the pass. Okay. 2 years ago, New Mexico beat Boise in the quarterfinals after they swept them. Yeah. Look, there's going to be examples. Does Falsa win player of the year? I'll talk about that when I get to the game here. Carson, good question. Boise beat San Diego State for it all, and the third time in 21-22. Okay. All right. So let's get to the big game here then. All right. Stop. I don't want to do that. Okay. So let's get to the game up in Logan. 94-90 final. Fantastic game. Now, I was worried because I was not in the comfort of my home. I was worried, as I'm sure many of you were, and I did see some people saying that it was there were some issues with the feed because it was going to be viewed by far more people than the app or website was used to having, right? So I had a few issues, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad for me. And so I'll take it. Okay. I didn't listen. I know people were complaining because the announcers, we know the announcers are going to be home announcers, all that stuff, right? None of that stuff affected me. And so from a selfish perspective, I guess, I hate to say it, like, I was fine with the broadcast. Okay. And it was a freaking great game. 94-90. And I didn't think the defenses were bad. I didn't. I thought the defenses were actually, like, look at New Mexico's ball pressure. Just incredible ball pressure. It was just a shot maker's game. So let me pull these guys up here and see what we can look at here on the board. As Lobos shoot 48%. Utah State shoots 50%. The points per possession were both over 1.3 per possession. The Lobos shoot 45% from 3, Aggies 37%. It's funny. New Mexico shoots 19 of 26 from the line, 73%. It's not great. It's not bad. But, man, those 7 misses seem like 13 misses because they came at very, very crucial times. Largely, it was just bullion. I mean, that's kind of what it was, right? Like, you hate to throw him under the bus for it, but because the dude had a double-double, shot 4 for 8, had 13 rebounds, and much of the game was played on the perimeter. But, man, like, you can't go 3 for 8. Like, when every one of those points mattered, it's tough. Only 18 turnovers combined between the two teams. The rebounds, Lobos out-rebound the Aggies 35-30. Both teams with 17 assists. I mean, just what a offensive treat. So a shot maker's game, resembling like an NBA game where there's just shot makers, right? That was not good. I did not want to do that. That was not good. Okay. What the heck happened here? Okay. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. I lost my screen here. Okay. So, I mean, Falslev, not huge scoring numbers, right? He had 15, 5 for 9, 3 boards, 4 assists. Collins woke up from his slumber today with 27. Allen made some buckets. Templin did too. Really, they got good minutes from everybody that played except for the 2 freshmen. Elamine has had a bad week. Perryman, Calhoun couldn't even play. He came in for a couple minutes, and Albury was all over him like white on rice, as they say, and Calhoun had to get him out of the game. Like, you don't see that very much, where a guy comes in, he can't even like exist out there, and you got to get him off the floor. I mean, this is no time to be sensitive to guys' feelings like you're trying to win a championship, and he did the right thing. I was a bit surprised that he didn't go to Tucker Anderson since they were so poor in the midweek against UNLV. Anderson was like the lone guy who played well in that game. I mean, Falslev did too, and he didn't give Anderson any run today. So kind of odd. But, you know, from a New Mexico perspective, look, like, I get it. It's frustrating as hell when the other team's firing in 3 after 3 after 3 because they count as 3 points, right? And it seems like when they hit 2 threes in back-to-back possessions, like that's 6 points in about 35 seconds. And sometimes that takes teams like 5 minutes to get 6 points, right? So it's just so deflating. But we know that that's the style of defense that Olin wants to play. It bit you in the rear end on Wednesday when CSU made a ton of threes, and that's what you gave up tonight. Like, Utah State, half of their field goal attempts, 27 of their 54 field goal attempts were threes, right? And it's what your defense is designed to give up. He wants to collapse in the paint. He wants to overhelp. He wants to take away the paint, not give up easy buckets, force you to make a pass, maybe get it to a non-shooter, have to make another pass, and then make the shot. And you're going to do that sometimes. Now, when they miss 3 in a row, then you're feeling great. But, man, when they hit a couple, 3 out of 4, it just feels like you're so deflated. Like, I get it, you know, and I'm rooting for a good game in both teams, but I feel it, and it's like, man, I just know that as a fan, like, it's got to be frustrating, you know, but that's the style that he wanted to play. It hasn't exactly been super here in the last month, especially in the last 2 games this week. But, you know, that's the style that he's played. Bottom line is, look, he had his team within 1 possession, and King and and Collins had to make some free throws in the last 30 seconds, or else the Lobos would have had the ball with a chance to tie, because Hall's ridiculous, okay? But Miller's one of those guys, I'm not going to say it, but Miller's one of those guys, he DGAFs, right? I'm not going to say it. You guys probably know what I mean. He DGAFs. He doesn't care. And sometimes you need a guy like that. Like, sometimes it's not great, but he hit 5 out of 6 tonight, and I don't think he's a very good shooter, but it doesn't bother him when he misses shots. And so he just fired and fired and fired. And like the other night, what was he? 1 for 7, 1 for 8 from 3. He hit the backboard on 1 from the side. And it's like, yeah, this dude, like, and I said he's not a consistent contributor on a championship team. And then today he goes out and scores hits 5 out of 6 from 3. I also said, either on here on Wednesday or on my pod then that I did on Thursday, that the Lobos were going to need somebody else to score because Hall's not going to go for 35. Well, he didn't go for 35. I was way off. He only went for 32, okay? Like, unbelievable. Now, yes, the last handful of minutes, the Aggies D'd him up better. A lot of it was Falslev. I'm sure a lot of it was Hall being tired too, right? Like, the kid's a freshman. He's doing a ton of work out there. He runs around like crazy. The energy that you have to expend to get open looks, and it's not like maybe a couple catch and shoots, but, man, there were several times where, well, a lot, he does what he does, uses his pivot foot, uses his jab step, uses a shot fake, uses a ball fake, working, pivoting, running, off screens. He's using a lot of energy up, right? And then he's playing on the other end too. So, like, you're going to get worn out. Like, you're going to get tired, especially when you're playing 35-ish minutes. All right. What exactly did he play here? Let me look. He played 38 minutes. So, like, Olin needed him on the floor because nobody else was scoring, because Chol, like, again, absolute zero. I mean, he can't even use Chol anymore. 10 minutes, 0 points. Can't even use Chol anymore. Like, he's not even worth it as a decoy. And the young man, I'm sure his confidence is absolutely shot. Now, I mean, Olin has given him chance after chance after chance. I mean, is he going to bag him now in his starting lineup? Probably not. So he's going to do what he did here. He'll play him, see if he can make a shot or two. If he can't, he's going to play eight minutes on Thursday, right? Because there's no time to play games here and worry about what Joel is feeling, okay? Because Miller did make shots tonight. You'll give those minutes to Rock. Give them to Tannett. Tannett played well tonight. And they get this win against most other opponents. It just didn't happen tonight because they played a team that is better than them, and that team played their A game. Because this was a game where it's like you hate for somebody to lose. And it's a shame that they didn't have this effort on Wednesday or in other games this year, because they wouldn't be in this situation. Because the fact of the matter is now they're probably less than 1% to make the field as an at-large, right? Like they could get 2 more quad 1 wins without winning the conference tournament, right? They could beat Boise on a neutral, and then they could beat San Diego State on a neutral in the semis, and those would be 2 quad 1 wins. That alone is probably not going to get it done. And it's going to vault them up the list a little bit, but they would need like everything else to fall into place. Like no bid Steelers and everybody else on or around the bubble, last 4 in, first 4 out, anybody else, lose. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And as somebody pointed out earlier, the CSU loss, it would help. But I don't see how that happens, because if they beat San Diego State, that takes away a quad 1 win from you guys then. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't in that situation if you're New Mexico, right? Like what's more important, having that CSU loss move from quad 3 to quad 2 or getting another quad 1 win? Because if you would beat CSU, like, that's not a quad 1 win. Probably be quad 2 on a neutral, and maybe that would even knock them down. Who knows? So I don't know what your best path is. It's not looking good. You're going to have to win 3. And frankly, you might not win on Thursday, because I don't think it's a plus matchup for you guys. Granted, somebody said it. It's tough to beat a good team 3 times. We get that. But I just don't think they match up well. Like Leon will have a game plan for Hall. I don't think it will take 30 minutes, 35 minutes for them to shut Hall down either. He's got guys that he can throw at him, including RJ Keene, who only cares about shutting guys down. Like Keene's happy to shoot the ball 0 times on Thursday, score 0 points, and hold Hall to 18, right? And Boise has the inside defenders to throw at Bouillon, whether it's obviously Buchanan or Parolin off the bench, Fielder, of course, different guys to try to D up Bouillon. And then you let Andrews try to neutralize or play even with Alberry and Tannett, I guess. And you just figure that there's not enough bullets in the chamber for Lobos to beat you then. Do you guys, as Lobo fans, have faith in to Javis Miller making 5 threes again on Thursday night? Like, I don't. And if that's the hand that you need, like, I don't know. I'm not saying that they're going to lose, but I would not forecast them. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Other things in that game that I want to talk about. There were some, look, well-played game doesn't mean it was perfect, right? We talked about the free throws that Bouillon missed. I thought there were some curious things. So maybe if somebody can help me out here, because again, I did not have the volume on. There was a play with like 3 to go that looked like it was out on New Mexico, and they ruled it out on Utah State. And even I think it was King, and then they showed it, and I thought it was off New Mexico, and King looked to Calhoun to review it, and they didn't. Why did they not review that? Did I not see that replay properly? I thought that was off of New Mexico. It doesn't matter. But I want to mention the Falslev play, because he makes that play where the Aggies miss a shot, they get a rebound, then somebody misses another shot, and he comes flying in like he's basically playing we used to call it 50 in my driveway. It was like every man for himself, right? It's like every man for himself. Anywhere from 5 to 8, 10 dudes out there just playing. Shot goes up, it's you get the ball, you score, right? And you keep scoring and you shoot whatever. And it's like that's what that looked like. He just came flying in. Now, I know I saw somebody say, well, he went over the back and it was a foul. Well, first of all, I didn't think so. But if you want to say that That's fine. But there was one that they called around that time late in the second half that they called an over the back or a rebounding foul on Utah State. That was a horrible call, and it led to free throws for New Mexico. So that stuff evens out. I don't want to hear it. An incredible play there by Falslev, and I tweeted out right away, that's the stuff that wins him player of the year in the conference. Okay. I don't care that he only had 11 or 15 or whatever tonight. Like, that's the stuff that wins you player of the year. You're like, in football, you need your Heisman Trophy moment, right? You have a big pick six against somebody if you're Charles Woodson to win it as a defensive player. You have your, six touchdown performance as a quarterback in the rivalry game, whatever it might be, right? I mean, that was his moment right there. And I know it's not quite the same thing, but like, that was a crucial play when every bucket mattered, and it was a wild play, and he gets an and one that very few guys in our league would have been able to complete that play. Okay. And that's why he's going to win conference player of the year. So that was clutch. I thought there were some head-scratching things there. Utah State, some dumb fouls in the last minute or so. I thought New Mexico also, I don't remember the particulars, but there was a possession where they let Utah State like dribble out 21 seconds of the clock and then fouled with 9 seconds left on the shot clock. And again, I didn't have the volume on, but I saw Olin kind of like befuddled after it, and I couldn't tell if he was sideways at his own team or the officials or what was going on there, but that was bizarro world. So certainly wasn't a clean last couple minutes from either side, but it doesn't detract from the great game that it was. Like, both teams played really good basketball. You know, it's a shame that they didn't have that effort every game in the last month here, because they'd both be firmly in the field then. So as it is, they're not. I mean, Utah State is. They're in the clear now. But, if we might be stuck at one bit if they win the conference tournament, right? And that's fine. That's what we deserve. Now, I don't think they'll win the conference tournament, and that's no shade at them. I just don't think they will. I'm never someone who backs the team to win again after they just won. I know this was a season-long thing, but I think somebody else will win it, and we'll end up getting 2 bids. But if not, it is what it is. So good game. Tough that somebody has to lose. Like, New Mexico represented incredibly well for them to be within one possession in the last 30 seconds in Logan with a chance to win or share the regular season and be the 1 seed next week. I mean, just incredible, because we've seen this team several times now in the last month look like a team that, if they had I'm not going to name any names, but if they had a poor head coach, that team would have been somewhere in the 7, 8, 9 range in the conference. Let's be honest. Okay. I think Lobo fans would agree to that as well. So Carson, I do think, I talked about false. So what I'm going to do is, Jay Call did go off Scotty. He was ridiculous. He was absurd. Steinbauer, you think Utah State's going to mop the floor with these teams? I disagree, but we'll see. Bouillon 1 for 6. Yeah, it's just not good enough. Carson's a senior. Carson, you are a senior. When MJ hit that 3 late in the second half, it's the loudest you've heard of Spectrum. Interesting. Yeah, Hall is just incredible. He knows how to play. Like, knowing how to play accounts for so much, okay? Like, you can get a lot out of your natural ability, but if you know how to play the game, it counts for things that you can't account for on other players, because you outsmart the opponent and your defender. It's ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, Scotty, Miller has never seen a shot that he didn't like. Oh, better than Chol. Like, you're better than Chol at this point, Scotty. Like, honestly. Yeah, Miller, if he got more minutes, he'd be on the Mashburn playing there, icing his shoulder after every game. Alford never has the best. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't recruit super well. I don't think, don't get you started on Chol Jazz. I'm sorry, I had to. McD, I don't think Alford's all in on recruiting anymore. I just don't think it's a priority. And same thing for Noodles. Like, these guys they're not spring chickens. Like, it's a different ball game now. He's not hitting the pavement, going out into kids' homes anymore to recruit like he was 20 years ago. I just don't think. RJ had 2 threes today, Sky. Wow, okay. If he can do that next week, yeah, look out. I agree. Key to the Mountain West tournament for the Lobos is Haupt. When he's an offensive threat, it opens up for Bouillon. If he continues to be timid, I'll agree with that. He didn't seem to be very aggressive today. That's a fair point, Scotty. Roddy says, we love keeping teams in games at the end with stupid fouls or missed free throws. Yeah, I mean, one of them might have been a little cheap, but even the 3, I think it was King that fouled the 3-point shooter. Like, I know they've made a few, but you can't put yourself in that position where they make a crap call. Like, we've seen this. Like, none of this should be surprising to any of our players, right? Like I know you kind of feel like, well, I got to kind of contest it a little bit, but you got to do it from a different angle then. Like the players are too good learning to draw fouls, right? Oh, sure he did. He had him on. He was a Terminator and Wesley Snipes and Will Smith and all of those today. I didn't really get any close-ups of him because I don't think he took any free throws, but he looked sharp. And so I didn't really hear if the herd gave him any crap or not. Templin does foul a lot. That's just the way he plays. Yeah. I mean, you have to live with that. I mean, you get the good and the bad when a guy like that when Templin does stuff like that. All right. So I do have, it looks like I can put the bracket up here. Now, I think the way it's formatted on my screen, I'm just going to put the top half on and then the bottom half. So let's look here. So we see the top half. So we have 2 games on the top half on Thursday. The 8-9 game always tips it off. So noon local out there, 3 Eastern, 8-9 UNLV Wyoming, 5-12 Nevada Air Force. And then on Thursday, early game, 1 seed always gets the early game. Utah State against the winner of that game. And then GCU against Nevada, likely at 5:30 on Thursday. To the bottom half, 2 more games that'll be the nightcaps, the night card on Wednesday, CSU Fresno, and then Boise San Jose, the late game with the winners to play. Oh, I cut off that. Okay, so San Diego State, CSU, I've kind of already mentioned this, and then New Mexico, Boise. So if we get all straight chalk, we're looking at 4 really good matchups. Now, the one that I didn't talk about yet is the 8-9 game. I wanted to save that for a reason. And then, of course, if the higher seeds would go through, you're looking at Utah State, GCU, San Diego State, and New Mexico. I don't see any way, and none of you guys are going to be surprised to hear me say this. I don't see any way, of course, I could be wrong. That's part of the fun of it. But I don't see any way that we get all 4 top seeds in the semis. I just don't see it happening, okay? It rarely happens in any conference tournament for one. But I just think we all know our teams in the maybe not 5 at Nevada, but 6 through 8 are playing largely better than 1 through 3 at this point. Okay? They just are. I know Utah State looked really good today, and so did New Mexico, but we're talking bigger than 1 game sample sizes here. Over the last 3 weeks, 6 through 8 are playing better than 1 through 3. Okay? Now, who knows? On a 1 game set, anything could happen. But I want to talk about that 8-9 game because everybody and their brother is just going to advance UNLV right through that game on Wednesday afternoon and say, well, as Utah State, somebody already said it in here, we don't want to play UNLV. Everybody thinks it, okay? UNLV's been hot. UNLV's been on fire. They're going to give Utah State a game. And I firmly believe they would give Utah State a game. But I would not be shocked in the least if Wyoming would beat them on Wednesday afternoon, okay? First of all, they already beat them by 30 in Laramie. Now, yes, this one's not in Laramie, and yes, it's going to be a different Rebel lineup. But Wyoming is playing good basketball too, right? Granted, today's game was only against San Jose State. No offense to the Spartans, but they just dropped 49 in the first half on Nevada last weekend too. It was, right? Or maybe that was even Tuesday. So they're playing better because I thought they'd hit a little bit of a lull, okay? But they won 9 conference games in a conference where they are clearly underfunded compared to these other teams. They won 9 conference games, okay? And they're not going to be intimidated there. Sundance will have a fine game plan. UNLV does not have a history of playing good basketball in this tournament. All right, we know the stat. It's been like a decade plus since they've beaten anybody other than Air Force. And I'm telling you, everybody is going to have them penciled right on into that quarterfinal game on Thursday. And I've seen this script before. I've seen this movie. When that happens, you get the old switcheroo pulled on you, and this is going to be Wyoming's up 6 with like 8 minutes to go, and everybody's going to be like, oh, what's going on here, right? So, again, I'm not going to, spill all the tea here for you younger kids out there. I'm not going to spill all the tea in this episode because we do have a preview show coming up in a couple days, but where I'll get a little bit more in depth with some of the predictions and matchups and stuff like that. But I am not going to be surprised in the least if that game goes Wyoming's way. Okay. I also wanted to say, I mentioned Falslev being my player of the year. Now, I don't have a vote. I think he will win it. I think he deserves to get it, and I think he will win it. But as for the rest of the first team, what I'm going to do, my plan is to do this tomorrow. I guess at the latest I could do it Monday. It'll give me something to do on Monday or tomorrow, one of the days. What I want to do is go through my eye test here, okay? I certainly respect Ken Palm, and I respect Bart Torvik, and I respect Evan Mia, and all these metric sites that all the cool kids and all the people use that I don't really pay attention to, okay? I'm going to use the old Moser scale, right? And I'm going to go through the league games, and I'm going to do the Olympic style judging. I'm going to take the 2 best games, and I'm going to take the 2 worst games, and I'm going to toss them. And that's going to leave me 16 games for most guys. I mean, I don't really know that many of the guys up for all conference honors have missed games. I can't really think of many who have. Maybe one here or there. But so that's going to leave you 16 games. Now, I get it. You can't tell everything by the box score. Can't tell everything by the box score, right? And I even as good as my memory is with some of this stuff, I might miss a game or two that somebody did something really well that didn't show up in the box score. But I'm going to weigh what I see in the box score, how the team did, what I remember about the game, if they won, how the game flow went, all of that stuff. And I'm going to kind of go through and give my own grades for each of the players that are in the mix for all conference honors. Okay. And then I'll kind of come up with my list, because I think we all know that Falslev, Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, and likely Henley, those 3 are probably locked in. Okay. And everybody's going to have their opinion on some others. It's easy to say, well, it's Hall and it's Collins. But we'll see. Okay. I'm interested to find out what my numbers and my recollection, once I look at the numbers, what that tells me. My own little formula, the Moser formula. Okay. So that's what that's my assignment here. I'm giving myself some homework here to do that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing somebody. We'll see. Jazz, crazy how 3 seed is later than the 4 seed. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Well, yeah, I mean, the 3 seed later than the 4 seed, they do that because they want the 1 seed in the afternoon, because they want them to have the rest advantage all the way through, both from Thursday to Friday and Friday to Saturday. And they do that by playing them early. So the 4 seed just happens to be on the same side of the bracket as the 1 seed. So they get the earlier slots than the 3 seed. 6 seed better than 5 seed. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they have been playing that way for sure. Jake Call, Tanette, Miller had no help. Double big was successful. Yeah. I didn't mention that. I didn't mind. I've been calling for that with some Lobo fans all year. We need the double big. We need Rock and Bouillon at the same time. Saw it a little bit tonight, and I liked it. Double big was successful, but no Chol impact, so Miller and Chol canceled out. Yeah. I mean, I've said this before. It was just a recruiting miss by Olin. It's a shame. You know, he had a miss with Howell, not Howell, Patton for off-court stuff. And he had a miss here with Chol because he's regressed. He's gotten worse as the season's gone on. It's unfortunate. Justin thinks San Diego State will be the only top seed left in the Final Four. He's going big upsets: UNLV, Nevada, Boise, San Diego State. Interesting. I'd like to see it. Bouillon missed 5 free throws. I know. Terrible. It's awful. It's frustrating because, you know, I'm sure he works at it, but it's tough. UNLV's been known to choke a lot in the Mountain West tournament. Wouldn't be surprised if Pokes upset him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree. It'll be very UNLV-ish to play out of their minds and lay an egg. 100%, Spencer. 110%. Yeah. Although Sky wants to see Falslev versus Gibbs Lawhorn. Yeah, I mean, look, I think a lot of us would like to see that rematch, unless you're Sundance and you live in Wyoming. You like to see that rematch for a third time. Utah State got drilled by them just 4 days ago, you know, as on top of losing at home to them. So that those two are going to cost the Aggies a seed line, if not 2 seed lines. And, you know, they're probably going to wind up in the 8-9 game instead of having a much easier first round game. And then they're going to be cooked in the second round like they were 2 years ago against Purdue and Edie instead of having a winnable second round game. So UNLV is you know, it's not UNLV's fault, but they're responsible for that. Okay. Roddy thinks 3 locks, Falslev, Gibbs, Lawhorn, and Collins. A lot of controversy the last 2. So you have Gibbs, Lawhorn. I mean, you have Collins ahead of Henley. I have to see. Maybe I don't know. I think Henley's been pretty good. I think Collins had a bad couple weeks there, and that's why I had not locked him in. The rematch will be cinema. Yeah, I think it will be obviously pretty good. So we're gonna preview that. So that's my plan. I'm gonna do that and run some numbers on that, and then Monday with the preview show. So hour long. Appreciate you guys being here. Pretty good audience for the game being a lot earlier. I wasn't sure how many we would get in here. I appreciate you guys firing the chat up. As always, can count on you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate Sun Cruiser being along for the ride here all season long as we wind down. This is our final regular season episode. Subscribe. You can still subscribe at Mountain West BNN. Please still subscribe. Free subscription at Mountain West BNN. Appreciate you, Scotty, you being here, and all of you being here all season long. If you've been here half the season, all the season, once a week, whatever it is. Appreciate you guys being here, watching the games. Saw a good one today, real good one. Take a couple days off. Actually, 3 days off. We're used to having Tuesday games. We won't have anything until Wednesday. But as I said, live show, 95% that it's going to be Monday. Obviously, if you're subscribed, you'll see a notification. Follow me on Twitter. You'll get a notification there too. As soon as BJ and I lock that up. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it. Yep, pack the bags. Let's get it. Farewell tour. 1 week left of Mountain West Conference play in basketball. We still have some spring sports going on, but in hoops, yes. So look out for as soon as BJ and I lock up the date, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. I will tweet it out that we're doing it Monday, and the same thing with the time. Maybe BJ wants to wait until the Boise game, women's game tomorrow to see if he can be around. But I think we're going to do it Monday for a few reasons, but we'll confirm that in a little bit. So one more time, appreciate all of you guys being here, and we'll catch you next time on another night in the Mountain West. See ya.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at CircaLasVegas.com.